Oh boy, it's time for the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app. Today, we're talking about Randy Orton versus John Cena. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've seen that match literally 100 times, but I'm not talking about them wrestling each other. I'm talking about how they are two sides of the same coin. Think of Two-Face. Like there's the light side and then there's the scratched up side. You can guess which one is which. But the comparison I'm making is John Cena is what you would consider the homegrown WWE like all-American champion, right? He's an ex-military guy. He, super strong. He salutes the flag. He, the kids love him. He is, or was, I should say, he was WWE's Captain America. We can all agree on that. On the flip side, there's Randy Orton, who also a military guy who went AWOL, I think. I can't remember exactly his story, but he is a legacy, so he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He was the bad boy. He was also a homegrown WWE product. Randy Orton is the Winter Soldier. I think John Cena and Randy Orton, again, are the prototypes that WWE has produced that are some of the best, like, not all time. What is the word? Like The Undertaker never went anywhere else. After he came from WCW, he went to WWE and that was it. And he stayed. John Cena and Randy Orton are WWE die-in-the-wool guys. They're the top guys. They were brought up from developmental. They came up together. They are the prototypes for the perfect WWE superstar. Now they are extreme veterans, right? Randy is a locker room leader. He's condensed himself down to the best version of Randy Orton that could possibly be. He said that he's in smack dab in the middle of his prime. I believe him. Randy Orton is, I don't know how to classify Randy Orton more than to say he's one of the greatest to do it. And John Cena is as well. John Cena, despite what people might feel about his wrestling ability, the man is an entertainer. And he carried the company for a very long time. And he made them a lot of money. Kids loved him. He was very colorful. It worked, right? And John Cena is going down in the Hall of Fame. It's just what it is. But they both kind of came up in similar ways. One in the light side and one in the dark side. Like you can agree that Randy Orton is the bad boy and John Cena was the good guy. John Cena may have come up with that thugonomics thing or whatever, but his core, his most successful run was as the John Cena we all know today as, the Fruity Pebbles, saluting, let's go to work, never give up, hustle, loyalty, respect, all that stuff, that the lime green, that's the John Cena that made WWE on top, right? And Randy Orton is the Viper. He is the guy who curb stomped Stephanie McMahon. He's the guy, or punted Stephanie McMahon. He's the guy who ran through the entire organization. He's the guy with legacy, like one of the greatest angles I think that a professional wrestler can have. It's like, I'm going to take out every single old school wrestler because we're the future. Him, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr. Randy Orton and John Cena came up, again, like I said, at the same time, took very different paths in terms of gimmick, but were both bred to be WWE royalty, I think. And it's fun to see how they interact, how how they clashed. There's a reason they clashed so many times, because they're both, again, they have a chemistry that is undeniable. They are both the prototype for WWE superstars, and they understand their role. I really do think having them clash together is a lot like Captain America versus Winter Soldier, where they have similar, not movesets. They have similar fighting styles, but whereas Randy Orton is more vicious, for lack of a better term, and John Cena is more honorable, right? But they both ended up at the same place. They both ended up as top WWE superstars who just get cheered. I don't know if there's anything Randy Orton can do right now to be heel. He's in his stone cold mode right now. The man is loving the fan pops. He can't not be loved. And again, when he returned, Survivor Series, everyone said, "Oh, I think having CM Punk come back dulled some of that return." I disagree. I think everyone was super excited to see Randy Orton, to have him back in the company. And since then, he's just been loving being out there. He has a lot of John Cena's energy. If John Cena was like a biker or something, if you really pay attention to kind of how they came up, they are the bread and butter of that era of WWE. Today, I couldn't point. Maybe Seth Rollins is the closest that I could point to say that's a homegrown WWE prototype. But I don't know. There's something different about that era of professional wrestler, right? They're just different. Like Randy Orton is not like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, who else is a good example? Braun Breaker, maybe, but he's too young to kind of call that out. Not even Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns doesn't even feel. Roman Reigns is a very Dusty Rhodes level guy, but like I don't know. There's something like that. It might have a lot to do with the actual class that John Cena and Randy Orton was a part of. It was Brock Lesnar, Batista, Shelton Benjamin, Orton, Cena. Like that crop of wrestler all came up at the same time. Iron sharpens iron. All those guys are phenomenal. The fact that they fired Shelton Benjamin, who, in my opinion, is another prototype for one of the perfect WWE superstars, is bananas to me. We can get into that in a whole different episode. I will talk 10 minutes straight about how amazing and underrated Shelton Benjamin is. But that crop of wrestler came up, sharpened each other. They became the, for lack of a better term, gold standard for WWE superstars. And I know there was a time when Randy Orton and John Cena clashed all the time, and people got really sick of watching them wrestle for the title. They were like, this is like the 40th time we've seen this match. But every match was pretty decent, right? Like they went up against each other because they were the top guys. They were opposites of the same coin. It's like Two-Face fighting his light and dark side. Like they're the same. They're the same friggin' guy. And I'm not talking about in terms of moveset. I'm talking about not even ideology. I don't even know why I brought that word out. Just being molded, right? I can't think of a better analogy than Captain America and Winter Soldier. I think we can all agree that when Randy hangs it up and John Cena officially retires, they have to wrestle each other in their final match. That is the only option for those two, because they have to settle who is the better WWE superstar prototype. And I know Cena used to be called the prototype, but I think Orton has a claim to that as well. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.